Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time to spend with me. And I am hitting my start button on my timer, and I'm going to keep my commitment to, the timer wants to tell me that it's done. Okay, well, we're having fun, aren't we? Good thing this isn't a technology webinar, right? All right, good. We got a bunch of people joining us over there. So I'll just keep my phone here handy. We'll forget about that. Head on over to Broker Team Profit Machine right there at that page. If you want to follow along Facebook Live, put your questions in that thread, because what I will do tirelessly through the night and tomorrow, we can get some real productive, abundant conversations going on in the Facebook Live thread that I can visit later tonight. And the really neat thing about it is that, as these questions come up, the person that asked the questions, you're serving the entire group because they're the same questions that they have. And what I really want you to do as leaders, and it's challenging, I find agents are a lot more open and leaders feel that, I don't want to ask a question because I don't look like a leader if I don't know that. Well, you know what? The best leaders, I learned this in leadership: humility, vulnerability, and transparency. That's strength in leadership. Humility, vulnerability, and transparency. So if you guys would head on over there and get on that thread, and we'll get firing away. Okay, good. So let's jump in. See, I was in a group of folks about 2 weeks ago. I spoke for a friend and longtime client, Joshua Smith, and he has a mastery boot camp. And I said, raise your hand to 200 agents if you have a business. And it was agents, team leaders, broker owner managers. They all raised their hand. And I says, okay, great. Keep your hand up if you can leave your business for 30 days and the production continues to grow and the agents that join your company continue to grow. And the hands went down. And I said, congratulations, you have a job. You don't have a business. See, a job is something where you have to trade hours for dollars. So the one self-discovery thing that I want to coach you to do is take a look at your business. Can you step away today, okay, and have your business continue to generate revenue and grow? See, that's a business. It continues to function, it continues to grow, whether you're there or not. Well, my responsibility, my commitment, and my passion is serving folks like you that have a desire to grow. And underneath it all, money's important, but I always ask people this. I need to know that there's something deeper. How is it going to improve the quality of your life by growing your business? Not just dollars, because I work with many people too that are at a point in their business like, wow, I thought success would equal fulfillment, but success is just a toxic mimic for fulfillment. And the reason it's so important for me to have you to be able to do this in your business is because then as we behave, then as we act, we will lead and will have that same impact on our people because they mirror us. They don't listen to us. They watch our footsteps. In leadership, people don't listen to us. They watch our footsteps. And so I want to give you guys the footsteps. Now, this is just a short little piece that's going to share with you how to bring people in because the call comes in all the time. Get me in front of people, John, and I can nail the interview. It's tough getting in front of them. Well, I'm going to share with you guys how easy it is so that you can grow a business. So let's get right into it. Here's the number one mistake that everyone's making. And here's the beauty. Some of you, and I like to challenge people sometimes and say this, you're so programmed, you're still going to hear me say this. I'm going to share with you true results, and you're still going to go back and feature dump. Let me tell you about the fur-lined bird bath in our break room and the 37 postcards that you will get on a crescent moon and a low tide. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit there, okay? But we want to feature dump. And this meme right here in the webinar paints the entire picture. See, here's what's happening. We're saying the right things to the wrong people and the wrong things to the right people. We have to understand you can have the best script, the best dialogue on the planet. But if you use it at the wrong point in the sequence, see, sequencing is critical, you'll blow it. See, 95% of the people that you want to recruit are indifferent. What are they going to bed at night thinking? And I want you guys to really get this. They're not going to bed at night, what does ABC offer? What does XYZ offer? I wonder what it'd be like if I'd leave. Maybe 5% of the population that we're talking to is, so here's the mistake. Our industry has taught us so backwards. One size fits all message. Well, how's that one working out for you? Because 95% of your audience is indifferent. So here's what happens is this. If we start going and trying to sell someone when they're not even thinking about joining another company, what they're thinking about is, how can I scale my Facebook ads? Okay? How can I just move the needle a little bit from 1% to 2% of every lead that comes in into 3%? Because that alone, that margining piece will make the big difference. How can I get more engagement and interaction at an open house? See, here's what we need to do. We need to enter the conversation going on in our prospect's head. And what that does, it creates an emotional and psychological bond. See, stop trying to sell people. Start building trust. You build trust when you meet people where they're at. No one cares about your fancy schmancy stuff. We've surveyed agents over and over and over again. They care about your competency and your relevancy. So I want you to write this down. In your recruiting, create an experience of what it's going to be like when they join, before they join. So what I want to do is this. It's not and thank you all for being here, but I think it's important because I think there's a lot of theory out there. Number one, I was a branch manager and I was an executive. I've done this. I've walked the mile in your shoes, and I was an agent. And then I've transferred. This is an organization that has 600 offices. And it's important that because I put this thing, 29 recruits, and oh my gosh, where's the substance behind it? So this is a real live human being, Wade Webb of Royal LePage in Canada, a fine organization. He was number one out of 600 offices. So this stuff that I'm sharing with you, I'm just sharing you just a little sliver of it. It really, really works. So here it is. This is the inside of, and again, it's easy to talk about things, but it's important that there's backing behind it. So this is one of our call center clients. And by the way, there's no pitch, no sales, nothing on this thing. I'm just giving you guys some backfill. Feel free to reach out to Joshua Smith. I've been coaching him, working with him for about 3 years. They'll say, John, I just got hammered by a bunch of people. We do recruiting call center for him. This is a young man that has never been in real estate. Michael. We hired him in our call center. We gave him 2 hours of following the system and process. And see, here's the advantage he has on you. He hasn't been tainted. He didn't know any different. So we gave him dot to dot on the system, the process, and the language patterns. And ladies and gentlemen, here's what's happened. So we're looking at 40, 50, 62, 78 calls, contacts, live conversations, 29 experienced agent interviews scheduled. 29. So I just want to take you into the real life world here, what's happened in 7 days. What does that mean to you? Well, and then here again, this is Joshua I've worked with. So again, just wanted to give you guys the backfill to see, hey, you know what? This stuff is being used by real people. And feel free to reach out to them, because the one spirit that I just kind of require and I think I kind of attract is abundant people that are really happy to share. Okay? So with that said, do a little math with me, you guys. See, here's what you're all doing. And this is a generalization, so maybe that's a little too all-inclusive in it. We're chasing the wrong rabbit down the wrong hole. How are we going to get more leads? What new tool are we going to get? What are we going to this? So we can get one more lead, this and that. Ladies and gentlemen, profit's in your people, period. If you're a real estate agent that wants to grow your business, you're going to hit a ceiling. If you're running a team and you want to increase production, I got news for you. To up your per person productivity is the toughest, most daunting task on the planet. As a matter of fact, I have empirical data that can show where, not every single case, because there's always this case here and there, but I can show where 99% of the time when you start scaling up with the number of agents you have, your per person productivity is going to go down. It just is. But the bottom line is this: you're going to hit economies of scale. You're going to hit economies of scale, and maybe the needle's going to move downwards just a tad. When you get to bigger numbers as far as agents per person productivity on an annual basis, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to hit this thing called crossover, where when the number of agents that you have and the production they're bringing in, those dollars, almost 90% of them drop to the bottom line. That's where the growth of your business is. You want to know what's even better? That's where the happiness and freedom in your life that you desire shows up. And this is the critical piece. And I'm going to share with you something super, super exciting. when you take a look at what you're competing against. So the first thing I want you to do, take a look at your business right now. Maybe you're an agent that's on this call or on this webinar and you're thinking, you know what, John, I want to grow and build a team. Where do I go? So if you're that person, what I need you to do is take a look at and say, okay, how much do I pay my brokerage per year? And again, listen, I'm not about your split, your fee, or your revenue share or whatever. Here's my stance on that. And by the way, this is some dialogue if you're recruiting too. Everything's investment return. You know, if an agent's so caught up on the split or the fee or this or that, then you know something, if they join you because of money, they're going to leave because of money. What we have to do is craft a picture and getting them to understand that they're going to go out and measure against me as a team leader or a broker owner manager and other broker owner managers. And here's what I want to coach you to do, super agent. And now we're in the interview part of it, is I want to coach you to measure investment return. Look across the table at the whites of the eyes of that leader that you're meeting with, okay? And ask yourself, I'm going to invest a portion of my commissions in a business relationship with a company and a leader. Do I believe I'll get the highest return? So with that said, let's table the commission split or the fee, because if that's the most important thing, we're probably the wrong fit. Be a leader. Be strong. That's what they're measuring. Don't be on the defense. And by the way, that's the truth. And so you pose it that way. Anyways, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down what's your number. If you've got a team or you've got a company, an office, whatever it may be. And if you don't know now, just follow along, pick a number, okay? So, you know, what you've got 10 people on your team. What is your retained company dollar? In other words, after they make their money, after you pay their commission split, but with that remaining money, if an agent's on a 75-25, they bring in $100,000, for example, for the year, and you retain $25,000. Okay, well, do that math. And if you don't know now, well, you've had a discovery moment. You've got to go back and get that number. I mean, how are you going to project? See, I can make this predictable. I can predict your outcome, where you're going to be if we have these types of numbers. And so what's the average agent value? If I got 10 agents and we did $250,000 in retained company dollar, in other words, we paid their agents their commissions, we've kept ours, or we kept those fees to pay our bills, to pay our overhead. So, okay, great, it's $25,000. So here's what we're going to do, is we're going to do some math with you, okay? Before we come back around to those numbers. So when we go back to looking at the 29 interviews that were scheduled, I talked a little bit about predictability. And again, I want you to table and just think about that number. What's the value of an agent on an annual basis to your company, to your team, okay? But I want to help you with some math. And here's the beauty. You know, I don't know that I'm the sharpest tool in the shed. I've hung around a long time. And I've got a lot of data that I have gathered and tracked for years and years. My first year recruiting a real estate agent was 22 years ago in 1995. My last year of doing it was 2002. And these systems and processes have added literally billions in sales volumes to real estate companies and teams, no matter the model, no matter the brand, throughout the world. Europe, Asia, Canada, South Africa, US. It works. So here's some empirical data. Number one, just for you guys to have as a baseline, 33, 50, 33. 1 out of 3 people you talk to, if you're on point and you're following the system and process, just so you know where you're at, okay? 1 out of 3 should schedule an appointment. If you can get yourself to a 50% no-show reschedule ratio, a 50% no-show reschedule ratio, you're doing really good. Now, this isn't part of the coaching call, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip here. If you want that number to be at 50% and higher, you send a video text immediately. Selfie video text. And I'll tell you this, my most impactful videos and in the masterminds I sit in with people that spend millions in marketing, walk around videos, selfie videos are outperforming the formal ones. So just a little tip there. We can raise that up. So 33, 50% will no-show or reschedule, okay? And now you're going to start to see why, when I show you the numbers, why most leaders chase the wrong rabbit down the wrong hole, because this stuff isn't easy. But guess what? The stuff that gives us the biggest rewards in life, in business, aren't easy. And you're going to see you have so little competition. 50% on no-show or reschedule. 1 out of 3, based on some you won't want to have, based on some where you don't convert, okay? 1 out of 3 you should be able to hire. 1 out of 3. Now there's a caveat to it, the number 14. I've surveyed 1,000 broker owner managers in the last 10 years twice. And here's what we came up with. It takes 14 contacts in some way, shape, or form before an experienced agent makes a move. Well, great then. I want to make a deposit, send something to them. I want to make a call. I want to do a confirmation video. I want to do the interview. I want to do a selfie video. Thank you for your time when they leave from the first interview, because I want to shorten the time frame in which they decide to join me. See, because life and business and recruiting and enrollment, see, we're all in the enrollment business. If I can get a greater series of micro commitments from a human being, it's going to happen quicker. See, what everyone's trying to do, where the people are failing, they're trying to get people to make a commitment and just jump. Well, I'm just going to make the micro commitment. And guess what a micro commitment is? Every time someone consumes some of my content, every time someone looks at a selfie video that I sent them. Because, by the way, the unconscious brain cannot discern the difference between a moving head on a cell phone, a laptop, an iPad, a desktop, or TV. Everything that shows up on a screen is TV. You have worked into the unconscious brain of your audience and built authority. So, I know that most of you aren't scared of video. You're terrified. But here's what I'd say. How big are your dreams? How big and how important are the things that you want for your family? Because you know what? Fear gets out of the way when we get so crystal clear on what we truly desire to have as an experience of life. Okay? So, 1 out of 3 are going to schedule an appointment. 50% will no-show or reschedule. 1 out of 3 will join you. It takes 14 contacts in some way, shape, or form. And we'll get into what those contacts look like. Okay? So let's go back to the numbers. Let's get really excited about this, because you know what? Heck, no one likes to prospect. Okay? But if we can get you some victories, you'll want to prospect. All right? So let's assume that you realize about $20,000 in annual revenue per agent. Okay? And so average time an agent stays with your organization. See, I'm giving you some framework here to do some projections, all right? They stay about 2.5 years. So, geez, Louise, the average value of one recruit is $50,000. That's pretty conservative. Pretty conservative, okay? Now, if you are a fee-based company, it's a little bit different. The number's going to be a little bit lower, but typically your expense, comes down in direct correlation to that. All right, so now we've got some assumptions. Let's go into some projections. Recruiting 20 agents will add $400,000 in retained company dollar. Where are you going to go get and add nearly $500,000 to your business? Now, but John, oh my gosh, I've got to hire more staff. That's a whole other training lesson. That's learning how to scale. That's learning how to be a true leader and manage people in groups. Because, by the way, it's been proven that people perform better when led and taught and put in self-directed groups than they do on one-on-one. Again, that's for another time. So, watch this. So, in the 2.5 years that an agent is with me on average, I'm only going to add $1 million in retained company dollar to my team, to my office, to my company. $1 million. How important is recruiting? I'll let you measure. Okay? So, let me help you out here too. This should excite you. Here's your competition. I've surveyed managers and team leaders. By the way, this is the truth, and this should really excite you. You'll probably get off this webinar, this Facebook Live, and start making recruiting calls. 80% of your competition has no recruiting drip campaign. 90% has 0 video recruiting initiative. 60% has no social media recruiting initiative. I asked them point blank in a survey. 95% are not making recruiting calls on a consistent basis. You guys, the market's wide open. Recently, my client recruited an agent doing 360 transactions. She said she never gets recruiting calls. He's the first person that ever called her. Let's get into this thing. First thing that you got to understand is human behavior. You're not in the real estate business. You're in the human resource, human development, human attraction, human behavior business. And here's how the human brain behaves. Once you go into sell mode on someone that you have not made deposits in the business relationship equity account, The amygdala goes into fight or flight. It's just like all of you that are generating a lot of leads. Can you share with me the abandon rate from your home search page? Can you share with me the abandon rate from your home evaluation page on your website? Probably 80-90%. That's what we find. Because guess what? Just giving my data to you is a threat. So it's fight or flight. That's what people do. They abandon. Shopping carts are abandoned. You've abandoned before too. The unconscious mind acts. The conscious mind thinks. So that's why, just a side tip on your lead conversion, lead generation, you have a reassuring video there when someone goes from maybe a Facebook ad to a landing page that overcomes the two biggest objections of human beings that we're not dealing with up front: sales skepticism and overwhelm. What if you created a video on your landing pages that reassured and reaffirmed that people are making a right choice? Just a little tip I wanted to throw in there for you. Let me know how your conversion rates go in online lead generation. So that's human behavior. So here's how it starts. It's not all about the call. People call me and ask me, what do I say on the call? That's not the problem. What are you sending before? Well, nothing. Here's what you're doing, and here's what your competition will do. And some of you, unfortunately, because you've been so programmed to sell, ask. Well, we're in the information overload age. I don't have to be sold anymore. When you run the sales rap at me, peace out. I don't have to listen to it because it's irrelevant to me too. I wasn't even in the consideration phase. I'm part of the 95% of all consumers. I'm part of the 95% of all agents in the marketplace that are indifferent. As a matter of fact, what I want to talk about is my business plan for 2018. I want to talk about how I'm going to generate a lower cost Facebook lead at $1 per lead versus $5. I want to talk about how I can capture more people at my open house. Meet people where they're at and give them an experience of what it's going to be like when they join, before they join. Here's what's going on the recruiting call. You're going to a bank account with your ATM card and you've put no money in the bank. It's simple. Think about it. The law of fair exchange. When we do something for someone, unconsciously they feel like they owe us something back. All we want is someone's time. By the way, what are you selling on a recruiting prospecting call? The benefit of the appointment. The benefit of the appointment. Take some time after this call and think about what you're verbalizing is the benefit of the appointment. See, what we're trying to do, we're trying to get people to meet us where we're at. That's not sales. That's not recruiting. That's not even coaching. You've got to meet people where they're at. Sell the benefit of the appointment. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is what we're doing. This is exactly what we're doing with our recruiter that's doing 29 experienced agent interviews. We send a business plan out that's branded from the company that we're calling for, okay? And our recruiter makes a did you get call. See, we've put money in the bank so that now we've invoked the law of fair exchange. We've invoked the law of reciprocity where human beings unconsciously believe they owe something back. Checking my time because I want to keep that commitment with you guys. I only got 4 minutes, okay? So we send that to them. Here's another one, and I'm taking you right into the real world right here. We send emails. Email is the most powerful tool on the planet. And this is a real-time email that many of you have seen me probably post this. Many of you are in private groups with me, where 2 private groups that I have where I do periodic Facebook Live coaching calls. Okay? And I don't know if you took action or not. I'm not here to judge that, but I'm here to share with you what happened. See, these are emails. What I want you to look at is this. Your subject line. See, all of our decisions are based on words. What kind of a copywriter are you? Words are magical. The problem with your email, the reason email doesn't work is because the words are weak. What we do, why did he buy the diamond? We get curiosity. And so we went into the thing about diamonds. And we went into marketing and the messaging, purely tip-based. Now, what I want you to notice, do you see a call to action? This is a recruiting email. Do you see a call to action, join my company? Do you see we are wonderful? No, there was nothing there. Her signature was down below, but I'm keeping that confidential for that branch manager that I work with, one-on-one. No calls to action. They know what you're doing. Why do you need to be in their face? Write this down. Everyone wants to buy. Everyone wants something better. Everyone wants change. No one wants to be sold. Why do you keep selling people? Because you're buying into the myths of what we've been taught. See, do you want to push yourself on your audience or do you want to pull them to you? Food for thought. Here's the email. Anyone want to see some results? So, here we go. This is from my client. You'll see, why did he buy the diamond? Well, here's what happened. From an email and the Did You Get call, I'm going to share with you the call that my recruiter's using. Okay, this is a branch manager. I'm going to take you into the same script that she uses and then my caller uses. I tried rearranging my schedule for tomorrow for our coaching call, but I have 2 recruiting appointments in the morning and then appointments all afternoon. But email doesn't work, does it? But you got to make the call. Guess we'll have to regroup. Now I want you to take a look at, well, John, that's 91 people, 45 opened it up. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this audience. Average sale price, $700,000. It's a segmented audience that's very sophisticated. Very sophisticated. This manager wants 9 highly productive agents. And so we segmented her audience. And we knew that the phone wasn't the problem. The challenge is making the deposits. But watch what happens, because there's this thing called the life of an email. See, it's not so much about the call. It's about the content that you're sending to people. It's the deposit that you're making into that account. By the way, I sent your email out. It's hers, but I created it, wrote the copy. 91 received, 45 open. Let's keep going. Ready? Interviews went well. Pretty sure I have another agent signing on next week. This is real-time stuff, guys. I can do Tuesday. By the way, oh, look what happened. The email open rate went up to 70%. What are you sending your people? I want you to go back and look. Does this look like yours, or does yours say, when you join us, it will be like that? Your check will look like this if you joined us. Our splits are here. Everyone wants to buy. No one wants to be sold. People choose with their heart. They justify with logic. By the way, if there's agents here, or any leaders too, how you're coaching your agents, look at your marketing, look at your messaging. I would maybe go on a limb and say most of what you're putting out there is leading with logic. Shift that. Watch what happens in your recruiting. Shift that. Watch what happens in your lead generation. You've got to make an emotional and psychological bond with human beings. We choose with our heart. We justify with logic. So, you might be sitting here saying, well, that's easy to get that many, 70%, no big deal. No problem. Ready? I'm just trying to get a message across to you to make deposits in the business relationship equity account before you make the calls, okay? Period. You don't have to do calls to action, because look at this. And some of you have seen this before. I want you to look over to the third column from the right. We started at 3,200 people. We ended up at 6,600. If you look at the far right number at the bottom there, 43.69%, that's email open rates of 6,600 agents. Now I want you to look at one other thing. From January 26th to February 23rd, we were sending emails every 3 to 4 days. So the person that's out there telling you that you should only send email to people so often, like once a week, well, no, what you should stop doing is sending crap email to people and send them good content that they want to consume. Because we've proven there's no such thing as a frequency rule. It's a relevancy rule. And I can be a little bit strong in that language, but I want you to capture it because we've been programmed and heard it for so many years. We have a tape recording going on in us, okay? I'm over my time. I don't want to feel I'm 22 minutes. Can I keep going? You guys jump in the thread. You guys cool? You guys want to keep going? I will keep going. Anyways, see, awesome. Okay, good. All right, good. All right, so now what we've done, we've set it up. Here's the call. And it was probably an hour and 45 minutes of training I gave this young man, okay? And the day before, the client sends just that business plan. So I'll take you back to it so you can see this whole process. I want you to see how this all works. This is exactly what we're doing. We have this automated business plan that goes out to the prospects the day before. And there's a certain number that it goes out to. And then here's what happens. My recruiter picks up the phone, and it's called the Did You Get call, because we've made it a deposit in the business relationship equity account. Okay? You're killing yourself if you're just doing, congratulations if you're making cold calls. But you want to know what I want to do? I just want to raise your conversions. Send something of value. Yes, By the way, all your secrets you can't share, that's baloney. It's a bunch of baloney. That's holding you back. There are no secrets. Did you get? So, hey, it's John Cheplak at ABC Real Estate. Did you get the business plan that I sent to you yesterday? No, I didn't. Oh, well, let me confirm your email address. I want to resend it to you, okay? And if yes, you're going to pivot to business-based questions around that specific deposit tool you sent them. What I need you to do before you get on the phone is you need to center yourself. Get into a quiet space. And here's what I want you to visualize. You're making calls to your agents because these are your future agents. And so to coach, train, and lead the competitors' agents better than their current leader is, so that over time they self-discover that I'm the destination broker or team. That's all we're doing. Because remember, why would I sell and tell how wonderful we are when it takes 14 contacts on average before an experienced agent makes a move? Wouldn't I want to pull them to me? Because otherwise, I'm fighting human nature. The numbers don't lie. So I'm going to have a conversation with them as if they're already my agent. Because write this one down too. People don't believe what they're told. They believe what they experience. So now look at your recruiting. Are you telling people you're great? Are you creating an actual experience of what it's going to be like when they join, before they join? And think about this for those of you that are experienced in recruiting. How many times have you had an agent say to you, if I would have known it was going to be this good, I would have joined earlier? You know what they told you? You didn't do a good enough job earlier on demonstrating what it's going to be like when they join, before they join. So I don't know about you. Wouldn't you like to shorten the process? Instead of having your recruit show up in the second quarter of 2018, wouldn't you like to have that bucket show up in the first quarter and then have an additional bucket you fill up in the second quarter? That's called trajectory. Just food for thought. Food for thought, okay? So then what we do, so either way, you're going to ask business-based questions as if you're checking in with one of your agents. Now here's another example. I shared with you the business plan, and you guys know the questions to ask about a business plan. Did you have a business plan in 2017? How are you tracking? Are you going to be able to pull it off? Okay, what did you learn? What could you have done differently? You just ask business-based questions as if you're coaching one of your agents. Now, another example would be this. What if you sent them a Facebook tips lead magnet? So a lead magnet, to define it to you, it's a Band-Aid. It just gives people some tips, but you're the solution. See, so think about lead magnets. What kind of lead magnets are you sending out to make these deposits, all right? So you sent a lead magnet before that has some tips about writing a headline, writing copy, and the 3 steps to a video that converts. And then you follow up with them and use whatever you're comfortable with. Maybe you're great on Facebook and video and you've got some things, but many times leaders will say to me, I don't know what kind of content to use. Well, look at your training schedule and duplicate the training schedule that you have for your agents, and that's your marketing pieces to send out to your prospects. Voila! It's beautiful. Coach, train, and lead the competitors' agents. So what we're going to do, say we sent out a Facebook tips lead magnet. Hey, it's John Cheplak, just checking in to see if you got that information, the blueprint, the 7 steps to an effective Facebook ad campaign. Hey, I did. Well, let me ask you this. Are you consistently generating business on Facebook? I'm not. So what are you currently doing that does work? Well, nothing's working. Oh, so where are you finding your challenges? I mean, you guys, it's all self-discovery, asking questions. What do you think you could do differently? You just keep going and probing and probing. What you're looking for then, though, is your transition is critical. How do you pivot? You want to send a lead magnet. You want to make a check-in call. Did you get? And then you want to check in with them as if they were one of your agents. You want to move people to self-discovery. You're having a business conversation with them, okay? So then what we want to do, though, is we want to make a subtle deposit. Give them a subtle tip. By the way, abandon this one. Well, at ABC Real Estate, we do this. Oh, ding, 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 ding. Okay, here comes the salesman. Here comes the saleswoman. I got news for you. You're going to push them away. It may work here and there, but listen, I'm not about having things work. I'm about big impact. So you can have a good quality life. If you bring more people in a shorter time frame and you onboard them properly, you get them productive, your life's going to change and you get to change more people's lives. And that's really, if you're in this thing in leadership for a job, you're in the wrong deal. If you're in this thing to impact more lives, if money is a vehicle for you, that's what it is for me. It's a vehicle to extend a message out to more people to impact more lives. Think about that. Think about that tomorrow, okay? So then you want to transition into a story. We have an affinity to story. So you're going to ask them questions. You're going to find that it's a challenging spot for them, but you're going to come back with a solution. Can I tell you a story about Sally in our office? So here's your homework assignment so your calls can be better. I need you to go down your entire roster, and I need you to think of every skill set that an agent needs to have: open houses, lead generation, lead conversion, buyer conversion, negotiating skills, all those things. And I want you to have a story, because stories resonate. See, it humanizes the process. It's more believable. Can I tell you a story about Sally? And you talk about Sally's problem that she had, and then she experienced this, and here's her result. And then what we do is this. Here's the magic line. When would be a good time to sit down for 30 minutes, have a cup of coffee, and discuss how you can, whatever it is your lead magnet was, okay? Whatever it was your lead magnet was, if it was on, converting more people at open houses, if it was converting more online leads, whatever it may be, when would be a good time? Now, why do I say 30 minutes? Now, the pushback's always this. See, I know these things. I've done this for a little bit. Why need time to bond? Come on. I got news for you. I have that come up and I say, are you going to trust me to coach your clients? Okay, I'll trust you. Wow, John, they didn't care about bonding. They wanted to get right into business. Oh, right. Exactly. It is a business building meeting. I mean, listen, the fact that you both have golden retrievers, or you both love to golf, or you both love to ski, I mean, that would be cool to have that, come up in the process. But listen, you are taking their most valuable asset, their time. Make it valuable. And here's the other beauty too, the 30 minutes. And I learned this in 1998 testing it. See, the most dangerous objection is the objection that you don't hear. The reason you hear no most of the time is an agent thinks an interview with a recruiter or a manager is going to blow out half my day. I'm handling it up front. Coffee, well, and by the way, I want to help you with your expenses. There may be a time and the place in the romancing process where that final dinner is important, but I don't know about you, but how well do you do in presenting your value proposition with food in your mouth? Just curious. Number 2, it's a wasted expense. Number 3, if you need to wine and dine people with $400 dinners, I mean, there's a time and a place. I get it. But here's the thing. What I understand is in these initial meetings, people want to know that they can get out quickly if it's wasting their time. Productive people see 30 minutes as crisp. Here's the other part for you. It gets you to stay on point. It gets you to stay on point and work on the single most greatest challenge. The single most greatest challenge, okay? Well, let's say it didn't work out. You get an objection. Empathize with humor. And this is exactly what my caller's doing. Hey, I'm happy at my brokerage firm. I'm happy with my team. I understand, gosh, because if you weren't happy, you'd already be working with us. They laugh 99.9% out of the time. Lighten the conversation, okay? Now here's the space where you go. And this is not bait and switch. It's only bait and switch if you compromise your integrity in the interview. I want to make you some promises. See, because remember what I shared with you was the number one objection people have they don't talk about? Sales skepticism. See, you guys, stop fighting human nature. Handle objections in advance. And I know what they are. I want to make you some promises. We're not going to talk about my company. I'm not going to talk about your company. I won't try and recruit you. Oh, John, that's a lie. And I'm kind of role-playing some people out there that might be thinking that. And that's okay, no judgment. Stay with me. I won't try and recruit you. By the way, based on the numbers I've shared with you, from being a recruiter, from working with some of the top companies in the world, okay, with statistical data that shows us it takes 14 contacts, why the heck would you try and recruit someone in the first interview and hit on that 0.000000001% that might convert and alienate yourself to the 99.99% that you worked so hard to get in front of because all you did was sell them? I promise you, it's not going to work for you that way if you want to really build something, okay? I want to make you some promise. Won't talk about my company. Won't talk about your company. I won't try and recruit you. We'll talk about the only thing that matters, you and your business. Why would you do that? For a few reasons. Maybe you'll see value in our conversations and in the future want to join. Maybe you'll never join and you'll send someone our way. Happens all the time, you guys. Happens all the time, okay? Or if something changes at your current brokerage or team, I want to be your destination broker. Objection. Now, are you starting to learn too? Don't quit. I get in a room of broker owner managers and I say, let's be honest, no judgment. Raise your hand if you quit too early. Every hand goes up. Don't quit. They want to see you be a strong leader in this. And this is nails it. Don't cheat. Don't cheat and pull this out in the beginning because you blow it. I mean, you've got to ask people a question multiple times to get to them, okay? Watch my tone and pacing. Let me ask you this. Are you open-minded about your business? If they say no, fine, disinterested. Keep them on the drip email campaign, okay? Yes, excellent. You restate the promises. Great. Again, because that sales skepticism is so high. You're just another broker that wants to recruit me. You're just another team that wants to recruit me. And I'm worried about getting a price reduction tonight. I mean, think about the conversation going on in their head, okay? I mean, if it was they wanted to join you, they would have been reaching out to you and calling you. Agents aren't calling brokers in droves every day, can I join your company? It's just not happening. They're not calling teams every single day in masses, okay? Restate the promises. Won't talk about my company, won't talk about your company, won't try and recruit you. I'm going to talk about the only thing that matters, you and your business. So when would be a good time for us to have that 30-minute coffee? Objection. See, I'm not a quitter. See, winners don't quit. I understand. You know, one thing I've learned, and watch tone and pacing. One thing I've learned is that it always makes sense to at least sit down with the competition and learn what they're doing to be successful. Makes sense, doesn't it? Let's just carve out 30 minutes for a cup of coffee. When would be a good time? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Okay? So, I'm going to recap. By the way, my lead magnet that got you in here, the 29 recruits in 1 week, he's following every single bit of this. Sure, I've talked about other broker owners, managers, team leaders, and some historical stuff. This is exactly what this young man who has no real estate experience and no recruiting experience is following. These philosophies, these strategies, these tactics, these systems. What would 29 experienced agent recruiting interviews do for you? Well, you can do it if you commit to it. So I want to recap and give this to you guys. Make deposits in the business relationship equity account and interact with them as if they are your agent already. Remember, everyone wants to buy or to experience something better. No one wants to be sold. Number 3, people choose with their hearts and justify with logic. Is your marketing, is your sales done backwards currently? Flip the script. Change your numbers. There's no such thing as a frequency rule. It's a relevancy rule. If the content's good, they're going to digest it. And the more they digest it, they're making micro commitments. And the more you're moving them along the path so that you can make warm calls. The biggie. Stop waiting for objections. Handle them in advance. Confront them now. Talk about commission up front and let them know that let's move that aside because there's never been enough money in a relationship to keep a relationship together. And if you join me because of money, you'll leave because of money. What I'd like to coach you to do is after you interview with me, interview with someone else and talk to them. And what I want you to measure is where you're going to get the highest return on investment. See, you're going to invest a portion of your commissions, your hard-earned dollars, in a business relationship, in a partnership with leadership. So let's move that aside. Let's see if we can find a mutually beneficial business relationship first. And then we can talk about that. That's, by the way, when you start getting that commission. Yeah, but what do you offer? Well, it'd be a waste of time. I'm a split company and I don't want to go to a fee company, or I'm fee and I'm split, or I've got profit share and you don't, whatever it may be. Be a leader. Stop trying to manipulate people out of stuff with tricky language. Talk the truth. Because the truth is they're going to invest a portion of their commissions in a business relationship with you. And my job, super agent, is to demonstrate you can get the highest return. Okay? Final piece is don't quit too early. So I am responsible for going over and was not my intention. I thank you for your time. I know it's valuable and it's something that you can't get back. I just hope, because I'm passionate about this, I'm so passionate about it, that there's no pitch at the end of this webinar. Because if I pitched you to buy this or do this or that, I'd lack integrity, wouldn't I? Because I'm talking to you about recruiting, and the focus of this recruiting process was, don't ask, make deposits in the business relationship equity account. Make deposits. So the key piece that I want you to do is I want you to go take action and follow this. Stop overcomplicating it. And the final piece, stop using dinosaur sales and recruiting strategies and tactics. No one wants to be feature dumped on. Thanks for your time. I'll see y'all soon.